Howdy, this is Lab 1.3. This is to show you how to use FME Workbench to take a AutoCAD layers and convert them into a ArcGIS geodatabase. So begin with, we're going to start with launching FME and FME Workbench. And when FME Workbench comes up, there's also a nice little tutorial that they show you, and so we can also follow that to see how it works and be able to look at the methods to using FME to build it. So we'll just double click on the little tutorial here to get it started, and up it'll jump and it'll show you okay what you want to do next. So you can just follow the next buttons here, and the first thing it is saying to bring in your AutoCAD drawing. So I have several different AutoCAD drawings, but I'm putting one in there for pipelines that you can use for your lab. In here simply a set of boundaries where a pipeline is going through those boundaries, and I want to try to get these boundaries or these deeds along with the pipeline brought into a geodatabase. Alright, so let's go back. You could have other ones. I'll just show you quickly, some other alignment files. You could have some very complex alignment files that you get from a contractor that has alignments of where a pipeline is. In here's very confusing with lots of text and information, but there would be an alignment with maybe some boundary information. But I'm going to use this very simple one for our lab, and we're just going to extract that from there. Okay, so the first thing it says that you want to do is that you want to bring in a data set and tell it where it's coming from. So we're going to say we're going to bring in an AutoCAD DWG, and then we'll go look for that inside a data directory. I should have one for Lab 1.3 here, and then I'll add that in there. You'll need to set the coordinates system. I'm using a Texas South Central feet, so that is what you need to select. So we'll select that there. Now once we've brought that in, we'll see it come in, and the next portion is for us to then pick the layers that we want to select. Okay, so I want to bring in deed and the proposed pipeline, and I'm going to turn off the other layers, but you'll see all the layers that are inside the AutoCAD drawing here. Some of them could be from the title block, some of them could be from the layers. Again, if I go back over to my pipeline here and look at this drawing that I have here, let me try and get it to fit on my screen here so you can see it really well. You'll see that I have several different layers in this, and you could have a huge number of layers but I have a small number of layers that you can see over here. So I'm just going to select the ones that I need to bring in and turn the rest of them off. So I'm going to turn all these off and only have the two I want to bring in, and I'll hit OK, and there they are. There's deed and there's the proposed line from that standpoint. Alright, now what I'm wanting to do is where do I want to have it written? Okay, so where do I want to have it go to? What do I want to have it the writer? So I'm going to add a writer, and I want to go to an Esri geodatabase. Now you can see here they're going to a shape file. You have lots of different formats you can go to. Again, in this example I'm going to an ESRI geodatabase. You can see the different ways you can set that up. You can go to SDE file databases, alright, or geodatabases. I'm just going to go to a file geodatabase here, and you can see what it allows you to do with the different configurations that you have. Okay, and I'll hit OK there. And now if you just follow again with the tutorial that it has up here, it's very similar, but it's basically having you do it for a shape file. Okay, and again my coordinate system is going to be the coordinate system that I want to have here, and I can specify where I want to put that. Now, so let's say that I want to put that in a specific location. So I'm going to go into my C drive for me and put it into where I put my data for our project. I'll just put it to 1.3 labs, and I'll call it my proposed underscore CL for centerline. Okay, so that's the location I'm going to put that, and there's the database where it's at. Alright, so now it will take and add that. Alright, and you can see it's running, and I want to take and make two connections there. I'm going to bring over the deeds and the proposed pipelines. So now it's going to need to take that to here and that to here. So I've built the where it's coming from and what it's going to. I might just go over here and I start typing, and let's say I put feature. So I'm going to get a feature type extractor, and let's just hit escape here, and I'm going to do next here so you can see that, and it's telling me to do the same thing, feature type extractor. Okay, so now if you bring that over and you double click on that, and we're going to bring two feature type extractors. Feature type extractor, one that extracts for the deed and one that extracts for the other one. Okay, so now in their case they're bringing a lot of different sets into one. We're just going one over here to one over here. Alright, now what you want to do is you want to come in there and you want to do some editing on that. Alright, and you say, okay, the feature attribute that I want to bring over, I might call that boundary, for the boundary that it's going to connect. And over here I can put in here maybe pipeline. Alright, and you put the parameters of the destination attributes of where you want it to have. Alright, so now we're done with that. We'll hit next, and now what you want to do is you want to connect the lines between the different data sets. So I'm going to connect that one to here, and I'm going to connect that one to here, and then I want to connect my deed over to here, and I want to connect this one over to here. I'm going to go over here, alright, and I'm going to say output here is got everything going right. Okay, and now I'm going to come over here, and it's going to say, well, what is it that the deed is? The deed is a polygon. Okay, so it'll bring in polygons, and I'm going to have it automatically populate the field there, and then I'm going to go over here, the same thing, and now this one's a polyline, so I'll say polyline. Okay, and then I'll have it automatically fill in the parameters here for the attribute definition. So I've done that next step, and I can hit next step, and this is okay, what's it telling me to do? Well, pretty much this is all you need to do is to run it. Okay, so now if we just hit run it, and it will go through and run the process. So it's in the process of running, and you can look down below and see your file and make sure it all is working, and if you have any errors or any problems, it'll come back and tell you, but it says, hey, look, it's successful. Alright, now one of the things I want to do is just maybe go in here and test and see. I'm going to open Art Pro, okay, and see what it looks like. Now one thing that you can do is come in here and select on this little viewer right here, and it'll show you your lines and polygons that you collected and made, so you can see those and see what those look like from that standpoint if you want to, you know, go across and see those scenarios. Okay, so I can also go into Art Pro, and let me just bring that up, and in Art Pro I'll go ahead and open up say an existing project here. This should be an empty project, but we'll see. It should be from my 869. Okay, so we have a project here, and we'll get it to draw here, and I'm just going to go add a new map. And so now I have a blank map from that scenario. And again, when I hit that question mark over there previously, here you can see a view of where it brought in the pipeline, and it added a pipeline into there. I could do the same thing going back over here, looking at the deed, and looking at it, it'll launch another open window. It's doing it on my other screen. But let's go over here and add in a data set, and I'm going to go in here to the Lab1.3, for example, and look for my proposed centerline geodatabase. If I open that up, should be two sets, a polygon and a polyline data set. And if I add that to my drawing here and zoom in, so now it's taking some of my lines and brought them into my polyline and polygons. Now if I look on here and I go to attribute table, I can see some of the deeds and points that it brought in for the polygon. Now I only have 6 objects that it brought in. So what happened to all the rest in my AutoCAD drawing? When I go back to my AutoCAD drawing and I look here, okay, so it's getting ones like it got that one, okay, and then it got some of these other ones over here, but I see other ones that didn't seem to make it into the polygons. And why didn't that quite work? Well, the problem could be that these polygons, although they look closed, might not be closed polygons. And that's a problem, because if you're bringing these in and it thinks that they are polygons or closed polygons, but they're really not, they won't be able to be brought in correctly and shown as actually polygons and collected from that scenario. So what I might have to do next is to go in, edit the AutoCAD drawing, make sure all those close, and then bring those back in and run the tool again to then convert those ones that were not converted correctly over into my geodatabase. Okay, so that was a quick demo of your lab, and good luck.